So you want website design ideas, right? Well, it's a lucky day because this is another episode
of the website of the week.
Hello, I'm your host Ksenia from ksenia.com. I'm the digital alchemist, and in this new series, we'll take a look at the website of the week. Now, I've already covered web design inspiration videos, but this concept is a little bit different. You'll understand in a moment, but basically, I'm going to review 7 websites, one for each day of the week of the past week. These websites have either been nominated, showcased, or maybe they even won an award. And of course, I will give you my opinion on which one is the website of the week. Now, even though the reviews are based on my experience, this is totally subjective, so don't get offended if you have a different opinion. And actually, before I give the verdict, please let me know in the comments which one ranks number one
In your opinion.
Okay, so we're going to take a look at 7 websites that were awarded the Site of the Day award on the awards website. So that's a lot of awards already. Now, these are from week 35 of 2020. So from Monday, 24th of August to Sunday, 30th of August, 2020. Now, in case you didn't know, I released a Web Design Trends 2020 video at the beginning of this year. So I kind of used that as a benchmark while I review these websites. Okay, so the first one is called Ali Ali and it's from the Netherlands. Now, initially when I saw that thumbnail, I thought, whoa, that's everything I like. It's minimal. I mean, the visual has some kind of impact, so I thought it was great. So let's take a look right away. So the first thing I noticed is that the image is gone. So I thought it was me, so I started refreshing, but no, it seems like the picture is gone. Well, still, I kind of like that. If you know anything about my channel, I love anything that's minimal. I love great typography. And once again, I want to stress that out. This is just my own personal opinion. This is not a universal truth. So anything I say in this video is my personal opinion. Don't get offended if you have a different opinion. But that being said, so I kind of like when it's really minimal and when there's beautiful typography. But then I started scrolling and this is what happened. So basically, it's asymmetrical design and it's well executed if you take into consideration the trends for 2020. This is one of the big trends. I mean, it's not from 2020. It was there in 2019. It was there also in 2018, but this year it's still there. It's still ruling. Now, honestly, I don't like asymmetrical design too much. Sometimes I like it. I'm trying to implement it when I can. But here, for example, this is just not me. Maybe you like that. Let me know in the comments. Personally, I don't really like it. One thing I like though is when you click on the bio page. I like the transition. The font is even more beautiful. The picture in black and white. I mean, it's just great. I just like the way the transition happens, but I'm just not a fan of asymmetrical design. Now, when it comes to the mobile, it's just beautiful. I mean, the first thing you see is this, so it's beautiful. And when it comes to the rest, because it's a small screen, there's no asymmetrical design. So in my opinion, it looks much, much better. So this website is very simple. And basically when you click on the thumbnails, it starts a video right away. So I'm not going to show you that. For the rest, it's a really minimal, apart from the videos. I think there are 3 pages and maybe some legal pages also. So there's no hamburger icon or anything, no need for it. So it works well. Let's move on to the next website. Okay, so our next website is called Lele and it's from Italy. So let's take a look. So this is Lele and right out of the bat, it's really original. I'm liking what I see from the font to the colors. It's original. Let me show you if I click on the card. So this is the card. It's really not what you're used to see, especially because of this font, this handwritten font. And now if we look at the little bubble that's following the mouse, this is one of the trend also from 2019, this here in 2020. Once again, it was there in 2018, but we see more and more of these websites. So let me show you. So when I start scrolling, it actually scrolls horizontally. Now, usually I'm not a fan of horizontal scrolling, but in this case, it works well because they're trying to show the products they have. So it seems like they have 6 products and you don't have to scroll endlessly. So it kind of makes sense and there's no other content on the page. So that works fine. So let's open one of the products. So it's once again, it's minimal, but it's bold also. And that was also one of the trends, boldness and gigantic fonts. So this is really consistent with the trends of this year. And once again, I think it's really, really original. Um, Here we can drag. So in terms of interaction, that's quite nice. And it's kind of not usual for an e-commerce website, but I really like the vibe that I'm getting from this website. Let me know in the comment what you think. And let's take a look at the mobile version. So the mobile version works well also. So when you swipe, it has the same effect. So you can just go through the various elements. And when you click on a product, it's just as beautiful. I think it works really well. It's really minimal, but with colorful products and with a handwritten font, it works fine in my opinion. Let me know what you think. Okay, so the next website is called Bien Joué and it's from Canada. So let's take a look. So Bien Joué is a studio that creates impact and leaves a lasting impression with its content designed for all digital platforms. So we have a splash page and we need to enter. That's kind of old school with the splash page, but you understand why in a moment. And this is anything but old school. I mean, look at this wall. It's just beautiful. You can move in any way. Now it might look a bit jittery because my video is recorded at 25 frames per second, so it's not really smooth. But I encourage you to go and visit the website. I mean, this is just fun to just scroll. It works well and it works flawlessly with a caveat. So I think it's really original. We have the navigation here. So let me click on services. So this website is also on par with the trends of this year because it uses large fonts, it uses boldness and asymmetrical design once again, which I can't stress that enough. I'm not a fan of, but I think that here it works quite well. Maybe with the color scheme, maybe the visuals, and I like that effect here with the text going over the image and with a kind of a parallax, and also it's masking the image behind. So I like that effect. Now I said there was a caveat because let me go back on the homepage. When I was testing the website and I was just trying to open one of the thumbnails here, so let me click here. So I don't know if it's going to do it, but basically, I just had a blank page and then I had the icon where Chrome says that it needs to kill the browser page. So it's not doing it right now because I opened a few of these tabs, but I had this the first 3 times. So maybe there's a little bit of optimization to work on, but it's not that easy with a website with so much content and videos. So I think all in all, it's a really nice looking website. So let's take a look at the mobile version. Okay, and just like the desktop version, this is a pleasure to actually go through it. Um, I really, really like that. Now, the navigation, of course, is different, and I like that the elements are big enough. So if you have big fingers, it's easy to click on those elements. I think it works really well. It's minimal. The typography is beautiful, and I need to test it because here I'm testing it obviously on a desktop, but in mobile mode. But I need to test it on a few devices to see how it behaves because, like I said, on the desktop version, there were some optimization issues, or maybe it was just me, but I tried on 2 different browsers on 2 different computers. Okay, next, Chris Wilcock from United Kingdom. So let's take a look. So this is the desktop version. And once again, you can see that we have a custom icon with a bubble that's following the mouse. And when I start moving the bubble, the shape changes. So it's more like an egg. It's more oval than a circle. And when I'm idle, it's just a perfect circle. So I kind of like that. And it's kind of smooth also. Now, for the rest, that website really respects the trends of 2020. So, bold design, bold fonts, everything gigantic, asymmetrical design, all of that, the whole lot. So, technically, it's very well executed, and in terms of trends, it really follows the trends. Now, once again, if you want my personal opinion, but this is not a critique against the designer because, like I said, I think they implemented very well. Usually, when I critique is when people try to implement trends and it doesn't really work. I mean, they can't even implement the trends, but here the trends are really well implemented. But I'm just not a fan of those trends. And I think I said it in my video. I much prefer the trends of last year, and I'm looking forward to the trends of next year because 2020, I didn't really like those trends, and not just the trends about 2020. But all in all, I think this font, the font itself seems like a professional font. It's just not my cup of tea, so I don't like that font too much. Um, and once again, asymmetrical design, it's not my cup of tea either. So let's go to the about page. Now, I like the transition here, and I don't know if you can see it on screen, but there's like this static here in the background. So it looks maybe with the compression on YouTube, it looks like just a dark gray background, but actually there's some like static, like some movement, just like on old TVs. So I kind of like that. The picture is looking good, and this font, I quite like it. So very, very minimal, and you can see the awards that they got here. So that's for a reason. But like I said, previously, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And in my opinion, it looks really professional. It's really well implemented, but it's just not my cup of tea. Now, let me refresh the mobile version. Okay. And at least we don't have the asymmetrical thingy because, well, we're on the mobile version. But in terms of fonts, I'm still not a fan here on the mobile. And the navigation is really minimal because there's not much else going on. And it seems like this is a trend because the Ali Ali website was like that also. So just have the logo here. I mean, the logo is just the text, really minimal. And actually, we have the same effect that we had on the Ali Ali website. So I don't know. I'm trying to zoom. Can you see the static? I see that when I publish the video with the YouTube compression. So just let me show you quickly. So let me zoom in. You should be able to see it, but like you can see there's some static. It seems like it's exactly the same effect. And it's funny because it's actually the same kind of navigation, just kind of reversed, but it looks quite the same. Okay, our next website is the Marcus Agency from Sweden. So let's take a look. So, right out of the bat, this also really respects the trends that we saw from the beginning of the year. So, animation, colors, giant fonts, and also something that I'm not a fan of is the lack of padding and edges. I see that a lot on many websites, especially the websites on the awards website. So, maybe that's an awards trend, but it seems like this is a trend. So let me first talk about what I like. So I kind of like that effect that we saw in the previous website where we have some text and we have the logo. I mean, the text here is actually masking what's behind it. And I really like that. Now, the color scheme is really impactful. Now, you may like it or hate it, but it's really, really impactful. Um, but for the rest, once again, I'm not too fan of this. I mean, when everything is moving, it just kind of gives me a headache. But okay, I understand it's a trend. It's just it makes me want to leave. It's just I'm doing the review, but because it's just moving like that, it makes me want at the very minimum scroll and move on to the rest. But the color scheme itself, I think it can work for specific brands, specific industries. Now we have the same effect here in the navigation, where the text is kind of masking the what's behind it, so the color changes. Now for the rest, I must be honest, I'm not a fan. There are I don't know how many fonts there are. One, two, three, or maybe they're the same one, but I don't think so. Maybe four here with the play reel. Um, I don't know how many fonts. Usually I try to stick to maximum 2 or 3 fonts maximum. But once again, this could be another trend. Now, I'm not really a fan of the design, to be honest, but I recognize that it was well executed. And this comes from a place of, like I said before, if you use the 2020 trends as a benchmark, then this website is really well executed. It's probably why it's got an award. Once again, I'm not critiquing just for the sake of critiquing. I think the technical work is really good. It's just in terms of trends, this is something I'm not a fan of. But as you can see, they seem to be working with big brands like Breitling, which says a lot. So this is Marcus. Let's click on one page just to take a look. Okay, so once again, we had that big transition. We still have the same effect. See, this is something, once again, I don't want to ramble, but everything is screaming for attention, and I'm not a fan of that. But hey, you may love that. So let me know what you think. Okay, so now let's look at the mobile version. Here, it's even worse, in my opinion, when it comes to the attention grabbing. So let me refresh to make sure. Um, Loading. So this is what you first get, and this is what you get next. It makes me dizzy. Um, but for the rest, I like the navigation. I like that it's big. And for the rest, is the same, actually the same thing that from the desktop version. I like the footer here. I like how it's done, and I actually like this color scheme. So the black and the electric blue, I kind of like that. So what do you think about this website? Let me know in the comments. Okay, next let's take a look at Mill 3 Studio from Canada. And let's check the desktop version. So this is the desktop version, and once again, trends are respected. We have gigantic font, we have asymmetrical design, and we have this kind of effect. Then we have a change of color scheme, so from dark to light. And this was also one of the trends where you can actually toggle the color scheme. I'm not sure you can toggle it here with an actual toggle, but you can toggle it by browsing. So for the rest, it's going to be the same thing than for the other website. It's very well executed when it comes to implementing the trends, and it's probably why it's got an award. Now, I'm still not a fan of it. I can say it 1,000 times. Um, I really hope these trends quickly go, or maybe that I start to like it, but it's been what more than a year actually, because it was even before 2020, and I still don't like it, but that may just be personal preference. Okay, so let's open the projects page. So the transition is nice with the color, and I kind of like that header here with the minimal approach with the white space. Uh, I really like this font. I think it's looks really, really good. And for the rest, still asymmetrical design. And if we scroll down, once again, this is one of the trends that we saw earlier with just horizontally scrolling text and everything screaming for attention. And as you may have guessed, I'm not a fan of that. Okay, and now for the mobile version. So right out of the bat, I like the 3 dots here for the navigation. It's got a lot of animation, which I find really nice, and the font looks beautiful. You can see it even more here on the mobile. So let me close that. It's really smooth, and I kind of dig that. So let me start scrolling. I feel much better when there's no asymmetrical design. But for the rest, yeah, in my opinion, it's better than the desktop version, but not a fan of the rest. I kind of like when there's padding like here, but in asymmetrical design, then we see things like this here where there's no padding. Now it can be a style, just not my cup of tea. Okay, so before I reveal my favorite one of the lot, let's move on to the last website today, which is iGaming Studio from Malta. So this is the iGaming Design Agency. IGS is a strategic design studio for forward-thinking businesses in the iGaming industry. We help brands prepare for what comes next in design and user experience. So right out of the bat, I kind of like that, really minimal with a lot of white space. There's some animation here, but it's quite subtle, so I kind of like that, and I also like the angle text here. I think it looks really good. Now, when I start scrolling, it's horizontal scrolling. Now, like I said earlier on, I'm not a fan usually of horizontal scrolling, and here I understand why they did it because it really goes with the design that they wanted to present. I'm just not a fan of this type of um, browsing experience, but they implemented it well. I kind of like when I see that part of the screen. I mean, this is definitely something I could mood board because I like it. You have a great image on the left hand side, and you have some text here on the other side. Well, it could be the other way around, but I think it works really well. The navigation here is just beautiful. I mean, that font is beautiful. The color scheme also, it's really nice. So lots of white space. So let me scroll again. Yeah, I dig that. Dig the colors, the font, and well, I kind of dig that design. What I don't like is the horizontal scrolling. So I think that's funny, those avatars. And once again, the color here is really nice, and I like that parallax effect. So that screen here is also something I could mood board. Okay, and now to the mobile version. So let's take a look at the navigation. It's still beautiful. This is I really dig that. Very easy to do with a tool like Elementor Pro, for example. But it looks really nice. Now I kind of like that effect. So as you can see, there's some padding here around the image, but when I start scrolling, the padding disappears. So kind of like that. Um, the rest looks beautiful. I like because it's vertical scrolling here. I think most people are used to that, and you know the rule about don't make me think. So I think it works better, but that may be personal preference. So now onto the verdict. Now, before I tell you which one I prefer, pause this video and let me know in the comments which one you would have picked, and maybe the second also. Let me know. So once you've done that, you can resume the video. Okay, so my favorite one is Lele. I think it's really original. Like I already mentioned, I like the fact that it's minimal and colorful at the same time, and I like the way they implemented the kind of horizontal scrolling. Actually, it's not really horizontal scrolling. This is it's like a wheel, and if you followed my videos, I reviewed one of those websites. I think it was in the Web Design Trends 2019, and I think it was a website that was actually made with Webflow, if I recall. It was with a dark scheme, and actually I took so much time trying to recreate that effect, and I managed to recreate it with a few different scripts. Not exactly what I wanted, but really close to what I wanted. And it's the same kind of effect here. And I think it works really well. So what I like I said, is the color, the font, the handwritten font. That if you just take that font like that, it doesn't look that good. But here, in the context of a brand that's selling things online, it's an e-commerce website, it looks really original and it works really well. What I like also is the card. I think the card looks brilliant. Let me add a product actually. So let me pick that one, and let's add it to our cart. So automatically it opens the cart, and I think it looks really beautiful. Now, if I had to recreate that website, I would probably use Elementor Pro because that's what I'm used to, but you can probably recreate that with any other theme builder. There's a plugin talked about in a previous video for the cart, and it has the same behavior. So as soon as you add something into the cart, it opens the idea of canvas navigation here. So all you would have to do is really style it. So you would need to know some CSS because not everything is in the options, sorry. But for the rest, that's what I would use. Now for the bubble that's following the mouse, we can actually use code, or you can use a plugin if I'm correct, it's called Dynamic for Elementor, so dynamic.oo, and they have this within the plugin. Now, for the rest, you can add custom fonts with Elementor Pro or with your theme. I use the Astra theme, so they have a free plugin where you can use custom fonts. And for the transitions, I think you can also create transitions with the dynamic plugin I talked about earlier on. Now, granted, you probably won't find that exact same one, but you could find other transitions. Now, let me know if you know other plugins for transitions because I'm always interested in digging new tools. But for the rest, it's quite a simple website, but beautifully executed. So I really like what they did here, and this is going to be my number one this week. Now, I also got a special mention for the Bianca website because I think this is really well done. I just like going through this. Um, and when you look at the sheer amount of visuals and videos here, I mean, it's amazing what they did with it. Even though I had an issue, but I haven't had it since. So I don't know really what happened, but it works really well. And another mention is for the IGS website, the iGaming Design Agency, because I just like the design of the website, even though I'm not a fan of the horizontal scrolling. But for the rest, I like the font and I like the really minimal and clean design. Now, which one was your favorite one? Please let me know in the comments because I'm really interested to see which one would be the first one for you, close second, and maybe a third one. So I hope that you get value out of this video. And if you did, please give this video a thumbs up as it really, really, really helps growing the channel. Now, there will be more videos to come in those series. So if you don't want to miss the next episode, make sure you subscribe and smash the notification bell so that you don't miss anything. Oh, and by the way, if you want a killer brand identity for yourself or for your clients, I created a brand identity guidelines template that you can download on my website for free. Initially, it was created for Affinity Designer, but you can use it with Adobe Illustrator with a workaround. So if you're interested, just go to casino.com/branding. So that's it for this video. Make sure you don't miss the next one. And in the meantime, don't forget to invest
In your success.